Well, good evening. It's Thursday evening. It's the 3rd of July. And it's just gone 9 o'clock and the sun is setting. I'm surrounded by half-naked sheep because we've been shearing today. A brilliant shearer, Chris, comes down and raising the bar. Really does a great job. So satisfying to watch. And leaves the sheep in perfect condition. And he gives myself and Claire a lot of tips as well, because he's got so much knowledge. I will get have more of a chat with him at some point and share with you on a podcast. But it's good to be done. It's hard work. I think those who've been involved with farming know how hard work it is. We have an extra layer because that's not the farm we have to deal with, but we have to deal with the students who come in. And also with the volunteers. You know, a lot of the students, like Alice today, was just amazing. A lovely young lady, and others are challenging, always pushing, and don't understand the benefits they're getting from a place like this. They will when they get older, and you try to give them the time, and they just don't understand. And the volunteers are lovely, but of course, a lot of them who came in today from Nationwide, so willing to help, but of course, it's a bit limited what you can get them to do in a period of time they've been here. But it was good to have them, and they really do help and support us in other ways. But the shearing was just magic, and it was well orchestrated by Chris and Claire, with Lorna helping, and the team there. So yeah, I'm pleased that's done, because I do worry. Well, everybody worries about their animals, but I just felt it was getting to the stage where they had to be sheared, or we're going to get problems. So hopefully I'll rest easy, but maybe not so easy, because we're still waiting for that baby nutmeg to appear. It's crazy, isn't it? It's just so crazy. I've been talking about this for months, which I probably have. I think I was so hoping that it would be born on the 9th of May, which is my daughter's 40th birthday, but maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Not even Mo, probably. So it's a bit of a roundup, and that. So the carrying on a little bit about the sheep. I did talk about the beginning of the sheep and the problems I had, and of course Dottie, my first rescue sheep, who was so much, it changed my opinions on sheep. I just felt they were just, how do you put it? A bit crazy, which I think they probably are, but they have got a side to them, and they do interact. You can see happy sheep bouncing around, contented sheep. I just have this knack of getting themselves stuck into somewhere, but yes, and having just looking across now, he realises I'm a good old wee. I think I suppose you have a wee before you go to bed. But the sheep have taught me a lot about animals, and I learnt about them as well, and they're still teaching me a thing or two. But Dottie was special because it was the first one that we really rescued here at the farm animal. It was never the full intention to be so much of a rescue centre, but I suppose it had to happen when people get to hear that you rescue animals. They're going to randomly drop in, like they did the other night, a little baby rabbit, and we've got a rooster. It is what it is. So yes, do miss Dottie. I know I finished, but Dottie was so special and more than a pet to myself. And I remember every year having a little baby lamb, and not a little baby, a big baby lamb. I said before, Caroline had to help it one year, and one year it was born with horns, and it always had a boy. About 6 years in a row, a baby boy, and quite big, and always a few problems with it, but not too serious. And then a couple of years ago, it was 3 years ago possibly, she was getting on a bit, but she wouldn't have known she had a lamb, and out came the most gorgeous baby ewe, a female. I was so pleased. The first female that she had. It sort of carries on the strain of Dottie. And she fed it very well, and I had her in. And I think after day one, I went round, and she was not looking good. You instantly know how bad it is. And this was bad because I could tell there's more than just a bit of a problem there. It wasn't mastitis. And she started to go downhill nearly as I was watching her. So I called in the vet as quick as I could, but it wasn't quick enough. And within the time the vet came, she just passed away in front of me. And her little baby lamb, which I called Dottie Doo, was happy and content. And even when the mother died, she was still suckling from her mother, not understanding, obviously, that her mother has just passed away. I was very upset. I had tears in my eyes, obviously, because I just, couldn't understand it and thinking, oh my goodness, Dottie is just no longer. We still got Dottie Doo, obviously, her baby, and bringing lots of joy. But nobody's going to replace Dottie. Well, apart from a little sheep called Bumblebee. I think I've told the story before, but it's worth repeating because Bumblebee was born 6 years ago, I think now, 6, maybe 7, out in the field. Not our sheep, it was... Sorry, George is trotting along as if he just won the best donkey race ever. Good old George. And we had a farmer had his sheep in. It wasn't the best of sheep. There's problems. My brother went down one day when he was here, and he called me. He said, "Oh, there's a little dead lamb in the field." And I thought, "Oh no, this is not good. It's not mine, but I do worry when you see one dead. You wonder why it happened. You know, things do happen. As we found out with our little bumblebee lamb just recently, but it was a post there, so my brother brought it up, and it nearly fit in my hand. It was very premature, but it was still breathing. It was making a noise. My friend said it sounded like a bumblebee. That's why we called it Bumblebee. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to do something. And I'm not overly keen on tubing. You know, I've got experience. Tubing is putting a tube into the mouth and down into the stomach and just pouring milk there, because if the little lamb is weak, it's not going to suck and it will just die through starvation. So I did that, put it down there, and I learned a good technique when I was younger at the vet to make sure you could hear. You don't want to put it down the wrong tube, so we say, and goes into the lungs. I know people do that, and you pour milk and you drown the poor thing. So that wasn't going to happen on my watch, and I'm very careful. And I, gave her some milk and put underneath a lamp and say a few prayers, and every couple of hours I would give her a little bit more. You know, the secret is not to overdo it. And we had some colostrum, which I got out from a sheep, I think. Oh, did we have some colostrum? Anyway, we gave it colostrum, which is very important for the immune system. And over the weekend, every 2 hours, didn't really sleep, and you sort of think, am I doing this? Should I not be interfering? Maybe it's not meant to be. But it was meant to be, because I remember after the weekend on Monday, I nearly got to the stage where I was just going to fall asleep. 48 hours awake was not good for me. And all of a sudden, the little one started to suckle. Bounced up and spindly little legs, and off it trotted, and took to the bottle. So it was down to every 4 hours, because I could get people to help in the daytime. And there we have a bumblebee buzzing around very happily, and obviously got very imprinted on me and very attached to myself. I got attached to Bumblebee, We still had Dottie, but this one was a little bit special because of the journey we've been on. So we ended up with Bumblebee. And yes, I could probably write a book about Bumblebee. There's lots of stories about her and what she got up to. She had babies. And she was used on the radio when we had the football, the Euros on. It was the World Cup. The local BBC radio in Wiltshire asked if me and Caroline could do predictions. So we would put a bucket outside the rush hour door with two teams' name inside. So obviously Bumblebee could not look inside to see what the names were because we wanted them to choose England. And Bumblebee would come out and choose the right team and got England right into the finals. So that's what you need in life if you want to succeed. Get a sheep and a bucket or two buckets. But no, it was lovely to have that publicity. And, Bumblebee will follow me around, bounce around. And I always sort of say that Bumblebee is a good role model because Bumblebee will stop, look around, and eventually move on. And I think that's what you do in life sometimes. Sometimes you just have to stop and just take it all in because it passes by so quick. You have these moments where you're thinking, oh, that was amazing, and you're on to the next thing. So Bumblebee's right. Stop, look around, reflect, and then move on, in the direction that you want to. Sometimes you just have to deviate a little bit of a direction to get to where you want to go. And I've sort of done that in my life. It's not been A to B to C to D. It's all over the place. But I am where I am. And we got Bumblebee, who, yes, has been such an adventure and still is. She had, a couple of years ago, we had a really hot summer and had mastitis badly, chronic mastitis they call it. Obviously, we had to take her lambs and feed them, which is not a problem because we're used to it. But she really got sick really quickly, and I thought, I'm not going to lose Bumblebee. We called the vet in, maybe not the vets that we wanted. Came down and basically said, well, you got 10% chance, we'll have it best to put it down. I thought, no, I can understand what you might do that if you're a commercial farm. You don't want to spend the money on trying to rescue one sheep. But we're different down here, and that's a special sheep. Money was not the problem. The problem was getting the right treatment. So we changed vets very quickly. I was not happy with this vet, say no more, but obviously she was looking at us as a commercial. And we got a lovely a vet, Wessex farm vets, who's not too far from us. And they came up and sort of said, not said the same thing, but there's always a chance. And they gave us some medication of what to do. And me and Claire set upon to make a good recovery. It was difficult for Bumblebee because it was so hot. So we worked and we got her through it. And her little baby lambs are still with us now. Is it Barnaby and Frisbee? I get all my bees mixed up with it all. We've got a lot of Bumblebee babies here. And we got her over it, and she appreciated it. She can't produce milk, can produce babies. And twice she became pregnant when I didn't really need her to be getting pregnant because I had to look after the babies. I remember one time, I didn't even know, it might have been a neighbour's ram, or it could have been our ram got out, but we never noticed. And I went out, I did a rush hour. Bumblebee came out, looked at me and thought, yeah, I go back in. I thought, oh. And your heart dropped. You think, oh, something's wrong again. Hope it's nothing serious. And she disappeared back in. I didn't think anything more of it. I thought, well, let her settle down. I'll go and check on her in a while just to make sure, she's okay. If I can do any treatment, I can. And I go around into a little pen we call the naughty pen. In there was Bumblebee with two babies. She produced two babies just like that. I didn't know she was pregnant. Nobody did. And two healthy lambs, which she we brought up, and it happened again just recently. The problem is, I said, we have making a decision that no more rams. They're going to be castrated or they become wethers, because the problem is you have so many babies, and we do find homes for them, but it's something that it's an extra job to do, and I do worry about them. So we had this little baby in only a few weeks ago now, and it was okay, a black one. It was like a mini squirrel, and it fed okay. And then, a bit like Dottie originally, he just went downhill so fast. And you get this sense, it was on a Monday morning, and I called the vet, and they came very quick and said, "Oh, I've got pneumonia. We'll give it an injection. It's going to be okay. It's not too bad." But within a few hours, it had died. And the vet said this time, because it gets so hot, what happens, they get sort of sweaty during the daytime, and in the cool of the evening, they get cold and shiver, so it gives them like pneumonia. And I do feel there was something wrong initially, because Bumblebee was not that kind to this little lamb and kept pawing it with a hoof, trying to make it move, and she wasn't really interested. We always keep our orphan lambs with the mothers if the mothers are around, but Bumblebee was not interested. The little one sadly passed away, sort of not in my arms, or nearly. I was going to pick it up, but it was just, I sat there with it, and I always feel it was here for a short time. And sometimes I said that it can be just as meaningful as a long life. As we said, we all give our animals forever a home, but we never know quite sure how long that home's going to be if something takes them away. And sadly, pneumonia did. So I've got a little squirrel come and see me now. Hello, squirrel, looking for a bottle. So yeah, a little one passed away. Bumblebee was not upset at all. I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, poor Bumblebee," and yes, but Bumblebee, I think she understood. She's been through it a lot, but no more lambs for Bumblebee, and hopefully no more lambs for the ones we got here. They need a rest, and we can always, there's always orphan lambs around. Anyway, it's time for me to go in and to just relax a little bit before I say goodnight to all my animals, and seriously, owls come in for food. So thank you for watching and listening and your support. I hope you enjoy some of the stories I'm telling. And we'll continue. There's always a story. As a little lamb looks at me in the face, said, "Grish, just give me a bottle." And don't forget, we love you. We love you.